Shifting Focus, episode 12. We are here with the one and only industry leader in the Emerald Coast when it comes to the barber industry, Joe Clark.
Woo woo.
Thank you for having me.
Drum roll.
That's right.
So let's start here by saying I found Joe because we came from Miami, from LA, even in Nashville, always had a good barber. I'd be Googling, Yelping. I'm like, there's no good barbers anywhere out here. I mean, no offense. There are good hairstylists, whatnot, but like that legit barber vibe. Like you go in, it's a lounge, it's cool, it's sleek. And then I found Clark's Barber Lounge in Destin. I think I was just Googling and randomly it finally popped up Clark's. I was like, ooh, where's this? That's not that far.
You were Googling? You mean Marketing Works?
Oh, Marketing Works.
Wow. Do you have any SEO out there or your business on Google? Obviously.
Yeah. We're all of our shops are on Google and most of our clients find us through there.
Wow, how interesting. Wow. Okay, continue.
No, but I went in there and sure enough, I was like, oh, damn. And then I had like the Barber Evo magazines and I was like, this is legit. So definitely industry leading. Mm-hmm. So that's cool.
Why are you covering up your haircut?
Well, unlike Joe, he was early today and I hopped out of the shower and he was there. And next week's the fade fix up. So
yeah.
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
2 Thursdays.
See, there's room for men to have your pampering.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Girls have it all the time. This is what we got now.
Lashes, eyebrows, filler, Botox. Mm-hmm. We do all the things, and then you guys get your haircuts every 2 weeks.
Yeah. So let's take it back then. Where did you come from, and how'd you end up here?
Born and raised in Puerto Rico. Started really early, cutting hair, probably like 16, and it was just some natural little hustle that I had coming up, and it turned into lucrative. Being young and making good amount of money in the mid 90s was, pretty nice. And I just continued to do it throughout the years and was very successful. I had barbershops early on in my, I was like 19 when I had my first barbershop. It was kind of crazy barbershop, but, at 19 years old. And from there, I moved to United States in the late 90s, 2000 kind of. And I visit Fort Walton Beach, and that's where everything started. My mom was living here before I came in, and there was not many barbershops in town. So me coming from Puerto Rico and having gone to big cities and cut hair, we end up having a success here in the area because a lot of the military guys were coming from big cities and wanting a little bit more than your military standard haircut that they were getting on base. So we became pretty popular.
You got that niche here. Mm-hmm. So what you're saying is you opened up barbershops in Puerto Rico before you even came here, or did you start here?
Yeah, my first barbershop was in Bayamon, Puerto Rico. I was around 19 years old. And it was an experiment, and it worked out pretty good. We were real busy.
Yeah.
It got better as I continued to learn from working in other places, and still doing it to this day. We love it.
What inspired you to want to be a barber?
Yeah. When did you pick up those clippers?
Yeah. When were you like, I want to cut hair forever?
Well, my mom was a hairstylist, but she had a few jobs. Single mom, raising 2 kids. And
so you were getting into trouble, what you're saying?
I was trying to help her out, and I wanted to make money. I was, at that time I wanted to find something, and I just started doing my brother, my neighbors, and it just suddenly kind of like took off, and kind of quickly in a few months was averaging, I don't know, $400 or $500.
For a kid, that's good.
A week, yeah.
Allowance is $5 and you're over here raking in $500.
Yeah, with no bills, living with my mom. So, I mean, just by being able to support my, the things that I wanted, helped her out a little bit. And, but yeah, the money was good and I love what I did. I love talking to people. I like being able to catch up with them, every other week and know what they're doing. And it was interesting.
How did you learn your craft? I mean, did your mom teach you how to cut hair? Or did you go in and just Edward Scissorhand butcher some stuff at first?
It was self-taught. Well, She had her equipment at the house, and at the time she was a hairstylist. She did perms, did all the, styles that were in at the time. And in the 90s, it started to, the fades and all the haircuts that were more trendy, she didn't know how to do. So my brother would let me do anything. I did a flat top on him the first time. It was crazy. I
Is
mean,
this your brother JC that's in the shop today?
yeah. Yeah,
Did you do the bowl cut?
well, I did a pool in the middle of his head. It's like it was crazy. A
Amazing.
lot of hairspray, yeah. And he was cool with it. He loved it.
You were doing the Paula D blowout before it was popular.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up in Puerto Rico?
It was pretty good. I mean, we lived in a neighborhood that was, a lot of youth. So it was easy to make friends and do sports. And
Yeah.
my mom would come home and there was like 10 kids inside my house playing Nintendo. And I was just cutting hair all day. And she didn't like the mess. They end up eating our food in the house. And it was a little crazy. So
Always
she didn't
crazy.
like it too much, but then she started seeing that I had a little money in my pocket. And it was all right.
Yeah. So then what motivated the move to the States at that point?
So my mom ended up moving to Fort Walton. And I stayed behind because I was in high school and I was already cutting at a barber shop. I was there under supervision of Bolivar. He's one of my barbers. He's my mentor. And he was the first one that gave me a shot at the barber shop. And so I stayed there, and my mom was over here, and I would visit Fort Walton a couple times, at Christmas. And then, I ended up moving over here. Puerto Rico was a little crazy at the time, and there's a lot of kids getting in trouble, and I was hanging out, with all kind of people in the barbershop.
Yeah.
What kind of crazy were you doing?
You get into trouble with the kids over there?
Well, no, yeah, Puerto Rico in the 90s was tough, I was living in a neighborhood that just had a lot going on, crime and stuff. And the barbershop was in the center of everything. So we knew everybody. And there's a lot of stories that happened at that barbershop that, it was crazy. And now that I look back, I'm like, wow, some movie stuff going on.
What would be your craziest story that you think that you want to share?
Oh man, I had guys in the barbershop that were, very well known in the in the projects and have beef with other people, and you were in the barbershop kind of nervous because you're cutting this guy and the other one's coming in and you're like, wow, I need to finish this guy before the other one gets here. And there's a few episodes that we kind of felt for our lives, but
Paths would cross between different gang members, or yeah.
Yeah, we had a situation that was pretty scary.
What happened?
People were
Guns
strapped.
drawn.
Yeah, people were strapped and stuff like that. But I think back then the barbershop was a local hub, and they did respect the barbers, because they were friends. They become friends after you cut their hair too many times, and they respect your job, but at the same time, they're trying to survive themselves.
Yeah.
And they need to look good, so they want to keep you in check.
Oh, they don't care over there. They can. I mean, they're gonna get a haircut no matter what.
They're just going to be me mugging the dude across in the other chair the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
Pistol underneath the barber cape.
Yeah.
as
Were
you're
you
sitting
ever
there.
held at gunpoint?
No,
in Puerto
no,
Rico?
no.
Never.
One of my barbers got held at gunpoint outside, but they were trying to steal a motorcycle or something like that, and he was leaning on it. It's like, it's not mine. I don't have the keys.
Take it.
Yeah. But
That's so wild.
yeah, some fun stories at the same time. But
Is Fort Walton so quiet compared to Puerto Rico?
when I did move here, it was a big shame.
Yeah.
I walk outside of my house and look right, look left, and nobody out.
You're like, where is everyone? Everyone's at church. Oh,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah.
It was
Cultural shock, kind
cultural
of.
shock. Yeah. But I was looking for the peace. But then I moved to Orlando for a little
Oh,
bit.
I didn't know that.
It was too slow, and there were not that many barbershops. And I think everybody was real laid back in this area. Either you're a surfer, you're beach, you're not like getting your hair cut as often, and there weren't that much. It's not like concerts and
Right.
events going on, so people kept their hair long, or you was in the military, and most guys just got like a
High and tight.
high and tight. They didn't really care for like all the looks. But I think things have changed now.
Is there a barber on base? Do they have?
Yeah.
So they have the guys that cut their hair military style. Like they have to,
Yeah,
they have certain criteria,
I
right?
think when you're when you're just starting out in the military and you're on base and you don't have a vehicle, you're 18 or 19 years old, like they're kind of forced or they don't have too many options.
Sure.
True.
So,
Yeah.
but
As you move up, you kind of step outside of base, find someone like you,
yeah,
look nice and fresh.
yeah. And the guys now in the Air Force and military, like things have changed a little bit and the rules are not, so harsh like they used to be.
Yeah.
So they want to look normal. They want to look
Yeah.
stylish.
They're still going out on the weekends in Destin at the Red Door and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So how was Orlando compared to Fort Walton for you? You went there after Fort Walton for a little bit, right?
Yeah. No, I stayed there many years. I kept coming back, visiting my brother and my mom, but it was just a little bit more upbeat at the time and big Latin community and the barbershops were a lot, a lot more busier. And so I had a few friends that had barbershops there, so I worked, around a few barbershops and it was kind of like my style at the time. As I got older, I start seeing the change in Destin and Fort Walton, a lot more, younger people moving from other states. And I start liking it, and plus I didn't need the nightlife scene like I used to. I used to party hard, so
Did you?
yeah, I used to love going to downtown Orlando and just all the clubs.
Clubbing it.
I mean, you
Yeah.
think about it though, you're a walking
Billboard.
business card. Yeah, you're a walking
Yeah.
billboard for yourself. So you step into the club looking fresh with a haircut. Guys are like, where'd you get your haircut, man?
Yeah.
It's business. You could go out and that's part of your
That
rifle.
was cool to say I'm a barber. Back then, was it the same in the 90s?
Yeah.
You're like, I'm a barber.
Yeah, yeah. So you're in touch with so many people. So I mean, being a barber was kind of cool with me growing up in every way. So I used to kind of get into the clubs that most people had to be on the list, and knew the bouncer or knew the promoter.
Because you cut all their hair.
Yeah, yeah. So I had, yeah, and still to this day, I go places and people know me. It kind of sucks at the same time because I don't drink like I used to.
Yeah.
So I'll go to a bar and they're like giving me double shots and sending
You're
drinks,
like
and I'm
pouring
like,
it out and having a sip.
You're like, do one of these.
yeah, I'm like, hey man, like just leave it normal, man.
Yeah, I just want a little bit, please.
So, but it's nice.
When you were at Disney, when you were in Orlando, did you have a theme park that you liked? Were you a Disney or a Universal person?
Well, yeah, we had the annual pass for family, and we used to go to Universal most of the time. I mean, kids like Disney, but we kind of went over there to Universal.
Yeah.
Pause for 1 second. I'm going to put
Okay.
Bella up front.
I know. I hear her snoring.
snoring.
That's why I kept looking at you like, are you not hearing that? Okay. She must be right at the door, huh? I bet. Yeah. In case you see me looking at David, you're not doing anything wrong. I'm hearing her.
Oh, because it's coming in through that mic. Okay. Oh my.
So sassy. Oh, my poor cuticles. I have a garden. I'm trying to learn how to. I want to plant my own
I went
food,
over there.
and I just got into it without putting my gloves on, and I beat the crap out of my hands. So it just looks like
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to start growing my own food.
Yeah. I mean, we tried, but we're not very successful at it.
Me either. So far, I've gotten 2 banana peppers.
Yeah.
I had a cucumber, but it was about this big. So I'm just learning. I'm in the learning phase of trying to figure out.
It's nice. Everybody's getting more conscious about it, trying to grow their own food and stuff, at least the essential,
Yeah, and surprisingly, Destin has a really good. I mean, did you like the milk in your coffee?
I loved it.
You did? Did
Yeah,
it
you
taste
did really
different? Did it taste different from anything you've had before?
No, but it was strong. I like that.
The
Yeah.
milk was pet milk.
Okay.
Pet milk.
It's raw milk.
It's raw milk
It's
from
not pasteurized from the
a
grocery store.
farmer.
It's from a real farmer here.
Wow, that's good.
So we-
it did
we're-
taste good.
It
We're
tastes-
doing that now by getting like raw milk and fresh eggs from like everything local.
Shout out to Panhandle Pines. They sell pet milk. I have to keep
You
putting
could,
it in
yeah,
quotations.
because
You
it's
can't
illegal to
leak-
sell
raw
raw
milk.
milk to humans. So you have to put on the label
It's pet
for
milk.
pets.
Okay.
Yeah, and they've
Because
got.
the U.S. government wants you to pasteurize, which means put everything through chemicals first before you sell
Yeah,
it.
they want you to strip out all the
I'm like, we
nutrients.
can't have natural shit anymore. You're gonna make us take your poison.
Well, the idea
it's
is
weird.
they were saying, because they say there's listeria and things you can get, but I mean, how many times were people drinking raw milk and it's fine? And I don't know, unless you're sitting it out in the hot and it's,
Yeah, it's a little different.
yeah.
But
Well, I've never lived through that time, but I remember seeing on movies where they'll bring fresh milk.
From a pail, right?
Yeah, they leave it in front of your house and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And,
That's how we used
Yeah.
to get
but
it.
it'll go bad, and
It goes bad quicker.
Yeah.
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 Like this is the shelf life is not as long, but she's selling it every week. And then you
Well,
get to
that's
see
the
her
thing.
cows and
you got to drink it. When
you got to
have
drink it. Yeah.
That's how it used to be back in the day. That's why things weren't wrapped in plastic and shelf life was a year.
Yeah.
It's like, no, real food is going to go bad in a week. You better eat it and then go make new food.
That's what we want to grow this. The front yard, I don't know if you saw, we had the sod in the front. Did you see
Yeah.
those patches?
Yeah, I was wondering.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I think maybe they started something.
Well, we were told
Yeah,
that
from our Costa Rican man, Rodolfo. It's like, oh, I got you. I'll put it here and
he
there.
said, put some sod, it'll grow your whole front yard. Well, it didn't. Now we have patchwork.
I'm like,
grass.
great. Now we got to do the whole thing or take the whole thing out.
So I was telling David, I said, why don't we just turn the whole front yard into a garden and make it have a bee garden where we have a lot of flowers and
Yeah, we have bees in the back. Did she tell you that?
yeah, we have
No.
bees. Yeah. So if you want honey in your next cup, it'll be local from back here.
I'll try
In
it.
the
Yeah.
backyard.
Yeah. So we're trying to do that. We want to be more conscious about what we're putting in our bodies. And I know we're shifting focus here.
Yeah, we'll go back to the
Yeah, we'll
Orlando.
come back to this. Yeah.
All right, so
Anyway.
back on page. I'll
Yeah.
edit that out.
No, it was good. I like talking
like it,
about
yeah.
it.
Well, I didn't.
Yeah, keep it in.
I wasn't here, so I
Well,
left out.
well, we can loop it back in and then tie it
All
back
right.
in. We
Or-
edit as we talk too. So,
Yeah.
and if you don't worry, by the way, if you say something or you think like, don't worry, we can chop it all
Okay.
up. Yeah. But you're
So-
doing really great so far.
So you're in Orlando, clubbing it up. When did you decide to make the move back? And then at that point, you didn't own your own shop yet, right?
No, so I did purchase a home here before I actually moved to Orlando when I was in my mid-20s. It's a little fixer up, and I rented it out and moved to Orlando, and I just kept coming back to check on it, visit my family.
You had like a house rental?
Or
Or a barbershop rental?
no, a house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so at one point, my family moved into the house, so I would come just visit, and I just started to see a much more upbeat, and it grew on me. I always loved the area. I mean, the beach, the lifestyle was kind of like something I seen. Well, once I get a little older, I'll move back. you know? So, but now it's a lot much better. I mean, there's so much to do here. So much more diversity.
Yeah. That was huge, right?
People are moving from LA, Texas. I hear people in my share all the time, moving from big states, and they're just coming with new ideas, fresh money. They want to, recreate what they had in their state. And so there's a lot of things lacking here that in the big cities were, more, popular. So especially the barbershop. So the barbershop scene here was when I got here was just very I don't know.
Like Mon Pa.
Well, yeah, there were small little businesses. I mean, you had good barbers, but there wasn't much to do. The experience was, more of I need a haircut. So
clippers
there's only
or-
3 places to choose from, and we go and we get it. And so I had all these ideas from the different places I lived and visit, and as I just wanted to replicate it. And a lot of people, my first barbershop in Fort Walton, Clark's Barber Lounge, the idea behind it was just a relaxed kind of like place to hang out. We had a bar, we had a VIP room.
Nice.
A lot of the local barbers were like, man, he's trying to bring Miami over here. That's not going
So
to
what?
work.
Yeah, Will, come on. Yeah, Will.
So we had a little pushback, obviously in order to bring that experience, our prices were a little higher, and people was like, oh, I don't know, that's too much. Now I got to make an appointment. I just want to walk in. So, it was an interesting process, but we started doing it right before everybody kind of like started to, we did it and people start to kind of replicate it because time was very valuable. People wanted to come in and be unexpected and not have to wait around 2 hours. So I think that made a difference. I think our online booking with Squire was what really kind of like gave us that edge.
What were you using before Squire?
Well, we use a few things. We use Booksy, which is real popular but with barbers. Then we switched to Mind Body, which is like a
lot of like yoga and gyms use that.
So gyms are they use Mind Body a lot, and but the cool thing is there's a lot of how do you call it? There's a lot of amenities in the gyms, yoga classes, spinning classes. So My body had where they had a spa, you could put your barber shop, a hairstylist, and a lot of my ideas for my future shops came from using those apps.
Cool.
So that one cover many things, just not barbering and hairstyling. So
You like Squire?
I like Squire. Squire came in. We got it when they first kind of come out, and they've done a really good job with how everything looks online and how easy it is to
Yeah,
book.
yeah. They've really perfected that funnel, right?
And they are they listen to the barbershop owners and barbers, so they're always adapting, doing new things. They just came out with a walking kind of like, before you had to get yourself on a waiting list, which is that came after COVID and it worked out pretty good. But they have a walk-in list now.
Oh, that's cool.
So it just gives you first barber available, and you put yourself on that list. And
How many barbers are in your shop? I know you have multiple shops, but
so I have 4 locations. Our headquarters has 10 chairs, and right now we have about eight barbers.
and they're all awesome, I'm sure. So getting on that walk-in list, people know they're going to see somebody who's legit, as opposed to walking into Great Clips and you're like, oh, I don't know if I'm getting.
Yeah, we have very experienced barbers. I don't think even the newer barbers, once they join our team, just because the experience and the structure, I mean, they easily start, getting, they're kind of put into a spot. The clients also expect, certain level of haircut, and our clients are prepaying.
That's awesome.
Before they even
Through
get
Squire,
there.
right? Yeah.
So Squire
That's
was
nice.
was the first one to did that too. So, and that was scary.
Yeah.
I used to get phone calls all the time. Hey man, I don't really understand that I have to pay and tip before I even get there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it was kind of, I'm trying to convince myself
Yeah.
that because
Yeah.
usually you want to kind of tip after you get a haircut because you want to know how good the barber is, right?
Did you see your tips going down or staying higher? Did you see any influx with that?
Honestly, the first few months, I had a little pushback. Some people would call, some people would come in, and they was just calling me on the phone. And I'm like, hey, if you can book online, I appreciate it, man. I'm in the middle of a haircut, doing a shave,
Yeah.
and I got to go to the computer and start typing in your phone number and name. So, I think right after COVID, it kind of like clicked. Everybody started ordering food, ordering everything, doing everything online, buying groceries online. I mean, so I think the ones that weren't too fun, they weren't too crazy about the idea, they got used to it through other apps.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
And
became
it makes it easy too. It's like everything's done. All right, thanks. See you next week. And you're just like,
And it saves so much time. I mean, how much time were people taking to, and you have to stop what you're doing to check them out,
answer
and run
the
their
phone,
cards.
to be
Yeah.
like, set a schedule.
It probably makes you more efficient as a business.
Yeah, I mean, you spend at least 5 minutes checking somebody out, going to the computer and running their card, and
Making
stuff
their
like
next
that.
appointment.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably, and Squire sends those text updates
Oh yeah,
letting you know, don't forget.
I
And
get it 2 hours before my appointment every 2 Thursdays at 8 a.m.
it's great, isn't
Reminder
it?
from Squire.
Yeah, I love it. I
kind of a
love
little annoying, right? You get you get one in the morning, 2 hours before,
Yeah, it's
and
like,
then you get
yeah.
a thank you one, and
Yeah.
then they ask you for a review. I mean, but if you love like the service and the place, I mean, it's just kind of gives that it takes away from the barber having to really do all that interaction, but at the same time, it feels it's super easy to access anytime. Look at the description of service, book the appointment.
Yeah, we worked with Taylor with S&P down in Miami.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we were working with Booksy at one point. Oh, actually, he had something else, some archaic when we first
Majestic
started.
was talking about Booksy. He had everything on Booksy from his prior.
We worked
clients.
with Booksy, and then we switched to Squire. They're like, we want to work with you because Taylor was racking in, a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so, but what they didn't realize when they worked with us is that people don't pay right away. Excuse me. Or
because it's a bigger payment, so it's like deposit.
they didn't do their
payments.
final.
Well, yeah, because because it's $2,000-$3,000.
Yeah.
For each,
So,
yeah.
so it's
then
not like
Squire-
just checking out like a barber $35 to $60 cut. It's like
Yeah.
we need $3,000.
Yeah. I mean, and that would work, but then Squire was hoping that they would bank on that fee on the back end with us.
Yeah.
But we were like, we don't know. We have to do a consultation sometimes. We have to get pictures first before we can lock it in.
Yeah.
And so it kind of threw off the system, what
Yeah.
they normally do. But I think for barbers, it's a perfect app because you guys, it just flows. But for people who do like tattooing, they'd have to manipulate the app a little bit for.
Yeah, I used to
that
have a
industry.
tattoo shop.
You did?
Yeah.
Where?
In the headquarters, I had a.
You say headquarters. Where's headquarters?
So that's in Fort Walton, the
Okay.
first
Fort Walton
barbershop.
Beach.
Yeah.
that's the OG
That's
spot.
the big one.
Okay, headquarters is Fort Walton.
The other ones are satellite shops, you know.
Okay.
So they started off just being like small barbershops, and I used to relocate my barbers that once they had a clientele and they wanted to kind of move location.
How did that all start though? So you just had the Fort Walton Beach, and then what gave you the idea to be like, I want other locations?
Yeah, we want to know about your inspiration for scaling and how you did
Yeah,
it and how you can
you
motivate other
scaled.
barbers to scale. Like if a barber's stuck in that one spot, just him, how do they get employees? How do they grow and become what you've done with your business?
So we, it kind of was strange. It was like, you know, I was reading at the time a book that say, you know, every time an offer comes to you, I forgot the name of the book, I can't quote it, but it would say, just say yes, you know, say yes. Somebody offers you something that you think is good. So one of my clients was managing a club in Destin. And he said, man, you know, every time I used to go, he would be like, use that VIP. That's your VIP. So I would go with my girl, all my friends, and hang out in the VIP next to the bar. And one time when he saw that I opened my barber shop, he says, why don't you just take your VIP and bring a barber chair? I was like, I mean, that would be good advertisement, right? I can like do some haircuts
In the club?
At the club.
That's so great.
Yeah. And
That's so great.
and so anyways, I ended up looking at the space and I said, can I fix it a little bit? So we took out the couches, we painted the same theme as my barber shop in Fort Walton, and brought my chair and did a barber station. And at the time, it was just for promotion. So we would hang out there. My clients would come in and I would just edge them up, take videos and stuff like that. And people took pictures in front of our barbershop. So, and that was kind of like just for promotion. At the time, I didn't think about how can places that have like extra square footage, you know, well, like we can monetize it, you know, because I wanted to have a barbershop in Destin. But at the time, I didn't have enough barbers. I was looking at spaces and they were, you know, kind of high in pricing and big, too big. And I'm like, I don't need nothing that big, you know, especially if you want to like, you know, you only have two barbers. You don't want to compromise with a, you know, with an overhead. So that idea of that just kind of stayed there. We use it for marketing. And then later on, I already had a barbershop in Destin. Like all I had to do was get my permits and operate throughout the day in the club. And then as the night came in, you know, you still had a few clients. And then all the bartenders, all the bouncers, all the performers, everything would have, you know, just kind of, you know, was very convenient. And I later asked the guy, yeah, man, we always have people in the club cleaning. The doors are open, you know. So if you was there, you could have operate your barbershop, you know. And I was like, and he gave it to me at the time for free. He was like, hey, just do that. So I could have just tell him, hey, I'll give you this amount a month, and I think that would have been cool. You know, he later told me, yeah, we should have done it. You know.
Oh, he didn't do it. He denied it.
No, but we didn't at that time. We didn't think of that. You know, I was using it as promoting, and I was like, he was like, you need to open a barbershop in Destin. You're missing out on so many clients. Everybody's driving to Fort Walton, and we just didn't think of it. And then later on, one of my clients came into the barbershop, and he's buying all these dealerships, and you know, I'm talking. He bought like 14 dealerships. His name is Fernando, and he was CEO of Step One Automobile Group.
Wow.
And this company came in and was just, you know, bringing, like, building dealerships from the ground up, buying all the dealerships around here. And I cut his hair for a while. I didn't know who he was. I know he was from Miami. He spoke Italian on the phone. I'm like, I don't know. This guy was coming out in suits. And I'm like, and one day he just tells me, hey, man, have you seen my dealerships? I'm like, which ones? And then, you know, he explained. And he was like, I have a lot of guys that are always complaining they can't get haircuts. What about if we set up a share at the Cadillac dealership and you can clean up all the the sales guys and the people that work there? And I'm like, sounds good, you know. And I read that book and I was like, okay, let's
Say
do
yes.
it.
Say yes.
Let's do it. So he took me and they had a little break room and it was mostly clutter. You know, people went in there and talked on the phone, maybe had a little microwave. It was a little bit depressing room and I didn't really think I could put two chairs there. But he said, how about I help you out? You know, I'll cover anything electrical, plumbing, and you just bring your stuff and decorate and bring your equipment. And I ended up doing it, and I really kind of fell in love with the space. And we ended up putting a little bit of money into it, making it look really good. And when it was done, it was just like, wow, like, and at the time, appointments were the new thing, so I didn't really need a big lobby, people to waiting around. People booked appointments and just show up to the service department. And again, it was like out of the box, and people would be like, "Hey, where's this barbershop? Like, you got to park in the dealership, go inside, and just go to the service department." But once they were inside the shop, they just felt right at home.
That's so cool. You
that-
put up
that-
a barbershop and a dealership.
Yeah.
And then you
so
did
great.
it in the second one, right? Are you in two different dealerships right now?
Yeah. So the guy loved it. I mean, all their staff was just, always looking sharp. They didn't have this, hey, I could have made an appointment. I can't show up. And, it's too late. So he just was buying Cadillac in Pensacola. And Cadillac was doing a brand new showroom, a new building, state of the art. And I want to put the barbershop inside the showroom. And I'm like, oh no, man, that sounds expensive,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to stretch too far, and it's a little further from Fort Walton. And he's like, no, I got you, man. And so he started writing the Cadillac, corporate, because they had to ask permission, right? Barbershop inside of a showroom.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yes,
Yeah.
Get little hairs in our cars. man.
Yeah.
So he finally got the approval. We kind of, designed it and did a proposal and we set it up. And so now you go to the showroom and you're looking at, Escalades and all the nice cars, and it's right there. So
It's so cool. I would never think that, but how awesome to walk in if you're going to buy a car.
And also, if you're
And you
getting
get
your
a
car,
haircut.
you're getting your car serviced. And you're like,
Serviced?
I'm gonna be here all day anyways. I'm gonna get a edge
Yeah.
up. and do
Does
some
the
work there.
showroom have a service department too?
well, it has a service department in the back. And at
Okay.
first we were looking at I was trying to get in the service department because there's just a lot more people every day there.
The
you know?
foot traffic
The
is
show-
higher.
Yeah, the showroom is nice, and you get serious buyers coming into.
Probably look sexier
Mm-hmm.
in there though.
It does. But that barbershop is setting is just so nice. I mean, it looks. I don't know how to explain. It looks like, how they'll do a movie set, like, and they're filming in a room where there's like it's a house or something, and then the camera goes back, and it's like, oh, I'm in a warehouse. So that's how the barbershop over there
So
feels.
cool. Is his name Fernando?
Fernando.
Does he throw in a haircut to people who buy cars? Like,
So-
if you buy this car, I'll get you. Does he do deals with you that way?
So what they were looking at so much is not really leasing this place because I mean they bring in their money so many different ways
Sure.
but they were trying to use the barbershop as marketing, right? They wanted to kind of create a bond between the locals and the workers and people that work for their company. So in Pensacola, they have Maserati right in front of the Cadillac dealership, so they own both. So altogether, they have like 100 employees between the service department and the salesman and loan officers and all that. So it was just him kind of like wanting to, I don't know, elevate the moral kind of like environment in the business, and so he wanted people also that to be able to break up their time. Like, so if you're in the middle of signing papers and getting approved and negotiating, and the clients sometimes get a little impatient, like with their kids or wife wants to go somewhere else and it's taking long. It would be nice for them to, get a hot towel shave or, a trim up. And it worked out pretty good. Most
So smart.
so the way negotiated with me was like, listen, we really just want you to give our employees a discount price, and also if somebody buys a car or you know, then you kind of give them a free service. And I'm like, okay, that sounds really good. And you know, at first I was like, this is the showroom, you know, how much is this gonna cost me? And they're like, no, just take care of our people. We'll kind of think about that later. We just want to provide a alternative service that you know, that makes, because the showroom is real nice, real luxury, but it also feels kind of like empty. So
Yeah.
the barbershop brings that, you know, it's a really aesthetically, the barbershop is real nice.
This is it, right?
Yeah.
So this is from
Oh,
the showroom
wow.
side, and then off to this. Did you do a little staging there for the opening or something?
Yeah, that's the grand opening. Well, we actually brought Papito, bless him. He's very famous influencer barber, and we did a competition.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, and Step One sponsored the whole competition, and
Whoa, that's the barbershop inside?
yeah,
That's sexy.
yeah,
Look at that guy. And that's
Who's
his,
that?
that's his brother too with him.
that's JC.
Oh, that's cool. You guys
That's-
did a great job in
He
that
was your
small space.
he was your mannequin growing up doing all the haircuts. Huh?
Yes, I learned how to cut hair.
Look how
That's-
good this, and it ties in similar to the Cadillac feel. You know, it stays on brand.
Oh yeah, that was one of their requirements, that the barbershop had to stay within, you know, within their looks.
So did you find that even though they were asking you to cut deals and sometimes do free haircuts, it was still a lucrative thing for you?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's, you know, we were able to exchange services, and it added so much to their showroom. So yeah, I think so far our relationship is amazing. They just love it. All the employees there utilize the service, and it looks really good. I
looks so
actually
Looks really good.
You
I
do
go-
a great job with making your shops look.
Yeah,
You like
have,
it?
Yeah, you have a really good vision as a barber. Sometimes barber shops can be not so aesthetically pleasing.
yeah.
And everything I've seen that David's filmed from you, I'm like, this is such a beautiful space. It's clean, it's simple, but yet there's so much what's the word I'm looking? It's a lot of class. It has this feel. It's just beautiful. You have a good eye for that stuff. Your
Well,
chairs are nice.
I spend so much time, you know, because I'm a barber as well, and I spend so much time there that, you know, I want to kind of make it nice. you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
So
good for you.
and all my barbershops are a little different. I don't know if you notice. I mean, there's kind of like in the same line, but I kind of adjust to the air to where I'm at. you
Yeah,
know,
it's
so,
great.
So like in the dealerships, I kind of had to take ideas from the showroom and kind of incorporate it.
This is his Destin one.
Oh my God, look at this. Look at the lights on your ceiling.
So this is the first one that I found when I
Oh, yeah?
found him.
Wow.
So I went there, and then since I've been there, he moved and expanded in a giant room next door of this also. So on the other side of the wall, he built out this really clean, more white and
Really?
bright look.
Well, let me ask you, David, when you're looking for a barber shop, are you looking at like a Great Clips, or are you looking for something like this? When you're Googling,
I'm always looking for something like this.
how important is something like that to stand out for you as a client? Are you like, wow, this is legit, I'll pay a little extra money because
When I see this, yeah, of course. And when I see this look, I'm like, all right, it's legit barbershop. Like it's the new modern version of what the old barbershops is like. You go in, it's just like this old white dude who just got a barber pole and
Yeah.
he can't do a taper or a fade, nothing like that. First I see the look, then I go and I'll like dive in and search the barbers and actually like look at their haircuts.
Yeah.
Like I want to see if they can do it or not. And then
oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, and then the odds of me going in and then he's cutting my hair, I'm like, I love it, cool. And then I don't know if it was the first or second one. I was like, how long has this place been open? And I didn't even know he was the owner. And I'm like, oh, I got lucky. The owner's cutting my
Yeah,
hair. And
yeah.
then took off from there.
Yeah.
What were you going to ask?
I was just going to say, it's interesting when I would go and get a blowout, whenever, this is going to sound terrible, don't judge me for what I'm about to say, that whenever they would give me, like a white girl, I always knew my blowout was just not going to be that great. Because
Okay.
I have a little bit of ethnic hair. My hair is not your typical, like, let's just daintily blow it out.
Got to
No.
put a little bit of grease and work.
I need like a South
Little elbow
American
grease.
or a black girl. I need someone who's gonna like get in there with some aggressive and just really pull my hair. And so I would sit down.
so it lasts. So it can last.
It'll last. Because if no offense, but if a white girl does my blowout, I step outside, poof, it's
Yeah.
done. It's over. I just
Staticky.
yeah. And so and I always knew. So I love that you have this whole aesthetic to your brand and your barbers. I do have a question though. How hard is it for you, or what challenges do you see when you start setting up different barbershops in different locations where they want you? Do you run into that, or how do you separate your clientele from
Needing Joe.
needing Joe to do their haircut?
How
do you build trust around your other barbers?
I guess, how did you change from Joe the Barber to
Yeah.
Clark's Barber Lounge as a brand now?
So I had like a little rough patch in the beginning of my business where I couldn't find barbers. And I think what happened was that I had to start kind of like coaching and helping the barbers, you know. So I kind of went and found some of the barbers. So I kind of replicated what Mr. Bolivar, my mentor, did with me. I was cutting out of my house, and this guy shows up and asks my mom if I wanted to learn, I could help him. So I saw, you know, I heard a few kids in the area that were like cutting hair out of their house and they were going to barber school. And I told them, hey, come over here, you know. And I was like overwhelmingly booked because I've lost a few barbers. So I said, I'm not going to let this deter me. I'm going to find some guys. And it was crazy. I was doing like 100 haircuts a week. Plus I was helping the barbers cutting hair. So my clients kind of have a lot of trust in me. And I would tell them, hey, man, I'm going to need you to sit down with this barber today. He's under training, but I'm going to finish your haircut. So he's going to start it. I'm going to look, you know, oversee it. And before you get out of the chair, I'm going to go over it and clean it up. So, and most of these guys were pretty good. You know, they might have lacked a little bit of experience in some areas that needed, you know, help. But I would come in, you know, at the end of the haircut and just, you know, line them up, fix it. So I had like 3 guys like that. And I think my clients started to trust that everybody I hired was being overseen, and every haircut walking out of the door, I was looking at it. I wear a lot of hats in my business, and it was kind of overwhelming. But you know, once you're in business and you have all these overheads, you just got to figure it out.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So some of these barbers became booked out, and then I moved on to getting another one, and eventually I had, you know, all my chairs full, and a lot of barbers would come out of town and just call a barbershop first because they just saw on Instagram and Facebook, you know, how many barbers we had and our clientele. So that helped, but it was interesting. But I think now everybody understands we have a little bit of a, you know, history in the local community, and our clients are super helpful. They always kind of, you know, vouch for us and refer people. And now a lot of my clients have slowly been migrating to some of my barbers.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, you've built that trust. It was really important, right? You didn't just say, tough, go deal with this barber. You oversaw it, made sure it was legit.
Yeah, it was very personable. I always took care of it. And I had always a group of people, like, you know, my brother, and then I had one of my best friends, Pablo. So I always kept like a small group that was like the core, you know. So, you know, and these guys did excellent work, and I can count with them. You know, some of the barbers will come and go. You know, they're independent contractors. They feel like they can do better somewhere else, or they want to try somewhere else.
They learn the hard way and come back eventually.
Some of them end up coming back. And you know, the barber business, you know, is so independent. Now everybody wants to be an influencer and be on YouTube, cut hair and charge $100. But you know, that's very difficult too. A lot of people see just the good part about it, but they don't know that person, you know, what they went through to get there.
We dealt with that a lot with Taylor. He would bring in artists, and then they would become this envy. People would start seeing, oh, well, you've got this, I'm going to split off and go do my own thing. But they didn't realize the business and how much time and effort and energy we put into the business part of it. So people would split off. They would be lucrative for a month or two, and then they would be gone. I mean, just disappear from the industry. It was so overwhelming.
Back to barbering.
And back to barbering. Yeah. You go back to what you know.
Yeah, a lot of barbers are doing the S&P too, and I feel like it's you know, in this area we tried it. We had S&P with our tattoo artist. He did a few and they were okay, but people would travel to Miami and spend 3,800 over there, and this guy was doing it for 600.
Yeah. It's
and
hard.
couldn't really get that many people. I'm like, $600 is still a lot of money, and people's like,
For permanent work that you
Yeah.
don't know if you've built that trust. You know, the branding goes a long way.
Especially tattooing someone's head. You're like,
Yeah.
damn.
well, it's funny because David told me, hey, so I do videos, like maybe we can do something, right? And I'm like, he's like, what kind of videos you like? And I pull up one of
Taylor's.
Taylor's videos. He's like, I kind of do that.
Yeah. He's like, I'm the guy behind it.
Like, I made that video.
I'm like, yeah,
I
like
made Taylor, you made the videos.
that was pretty cool. And I encounter that a lot in my barbershop, you know. Our clients really, you know, really helped a lot in either marketing or branding. You know, it's just we come across so many business owners, and you know, we end up, you know, I have so many clients from, you know, a certain restaurant, like, you know, Mimo's in Destin. I don't know if you've been there. Like, we cut mostly everybody there.
Oh, that's so
You
cool.
know, and I go places and it's like, okay, the cook, this guy, the
Yeah.
bartenders, like,
Yeah. Do you find, I know you were saying at one point you wore all the hats and you were very overwhelmed. You were doing 100 cuts a day. How did you get
week.
out? Oh my gosh. A week.
I don't think I will be there.
Back up a week. How
I'm
did you,
sleepwalking, cutting hair over here.
how do you combat the burnout phase? You know, I think a lot of barbers run into that same mentality.
Yeah.
How do you get out of that rut?
Oh, I was, that time was real difficult. I was super stressed. So I don't know. That's why I tell sometimes the guys that want to open their own shops, I'm like, okay, man, you know, like we'll talk in a few months, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
How'd you get out of it? How do you get out of the burnout?
there
At
was-
what point are you
what's
like,
the
I've
mentality?
hit a ceiling. I can't scale anymore. I don't know how to get out of here. You know?
honestly, not everybody's built to it. There was a few times that I felt like completely giving up, you know? It was pretty bad. But you know, you once you make a bout, you know, you have responsibilities, and it's like, damn, it's my name up there. Like, I really just gotta close the doors. But now we pull out. But it was very stressful, and I got sick one time, like just burnout.
Stress sick. Yeah.
And I age a lot. I don't know if you've seen the pictures when I first opened, man. I was a stud. It was like I was 37, and I was like every year, like, and when you have a business, it's just very draining.
Yeah. You look at the president of the United States when they first start their term and when they leave office, and you think, woof,
Yeah.
stress is a big deal for people.
Yeah.
You know, it's intense.
And dealing with people, you know, you have, I don't know, this is probably the worst part of being a barbershop owner, is that everybody's so interested. They have their own personality. Everybody has different needs, and they like fight, you know, between each other, or some of them like in a bad mood, and you see them every day, and then you have to balance it out. And somebody comes and complains and say, man, I'm sick of this guy talking the same stuff and next to me, and I'm just bored, and move me to the other chair. And, you know, I have to like, kind of like, you know, like a father, kind of be like, hey man, you need to calm down and just do your job and don't pay attention. And you know, a lot of needs, and you have to balance it out. That's the toughest.
You gotta create the environment in there. You gotta like set it.
Oh yeah.
You feel like once you brought on people, now you're managing people. Like your stresses and your things just change as the business, right? Things you probably didn't even think about as a business owner.
And it's hard when you work with friends and family too,
Sure,
because
yeah.
they expect so much from you. They have, you know, they expect them to have a little bit more lead because they've been with you, they open the shop with you, and yeah, you have to put all that to, you know, consider all that. But at the same time, it's like, man, like we're growing. This is a business. You have to kind of own up to your responsibility, and
Yeah.
you know, not, you know, you got to do the towels, man. I do them too. I'm the owner.
Talk to me about this guy right here, because you were saying he was your mentor. He is your mentor.
Yeah.
Yeah. How'd you find him?
You met him back in Puerto Rico?
Yeah.
So talk about how it started there and where you are today.
Look at that face. I want to be his friend.
He is
He
the
seems
friendliest
so
guy.
nice. Like that genuine smile.
He's the one who brings in the coffee.
Does
Oh,
he?
yeah.
He just looks
Like
so
gym
wonderful.
members will walk into the barber shop with their little cups, like ready for service.
Are you serious?
There's
He's
like a line.
adorable.
Whenever he brings his coffee, there's like a little line. Hey,
Does he bring
Brings like a
the-
thermos of cafecito type things, and
Let me know. I'll come by. I'll be like, give me a fade.
and he has a bunch of little tiny solo cups this big, and he just
Sorry.
hands them to each person.
How cute. I love him.
He has the Dominican roast. His wife does it like,
Legit coffee.
she does the entire process every morning, and it's really strong.
That's amazing.
You take two and you feel your heart raise like.
Who needs Adderall these days?
Yeah.
Just get some Cuban coffee.
So
Or Puerto
Bolivar,
Rican. Dominican roast. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Look, he's so handsome.
Bolivar is the most interesting guy that I've met growing up. He was
Sorry, guys.
bless you.
Sorry. I can't be trusted.
He's the most interesting man in the world.
Yeah, he's very Bolivar. When I was growing up, he was the guy.
Mm-hmm.
So he had just moved from New York, opened up a small barbershop in the area, and he basically brought the New York swag. And that at the time of Puerto Rico was kind of like, the hip hop, urban, the flat tops, the fades, and not a lot of people. A lot of people was starting to do it, but he was already mastering it. So this was mid '90s, and I used to go to his barbershop and wait for hours. And I used to like tie my shoes and try to see how he was doing it because
Nice.
I was cutting hair at my house and I wanted to kind of like imitate what he was doing. And he would just turn around like, I'm like, I can't see, And he's real fast, but he is just the most, he's always been really nice and he loved his job, you can tell. And the barbershop, people used to go there even if they had a haircut, just come by and talk to their friends. And he does amazing pictures.
Yeah, he's very
Bro,
photogenic.
he has look at that photo.
Wow, that's a great shot.
Yeah.
He's amazing. You can tell he's just this gentle, powerful being. Look how intense.
Yeah, he's
Wow.
very spiritual,
Yeah,
and he
it's
believes
cool.
in good work energy. He'll go above and beyond to help you out if he can.
So
we
it
should get him
started.
we should get him on the podcast. You think
Yeah.
he would do a podcast?
Yeah.
We
So-
should have you both on next time.
So you mentored by him, and then you opened your own thing. And how'd you bring him in with you?
So I left. I kind of lost track and didn't know where he was. He kind of disappeared for a minute. I know he was in Atlanta, but I couldn't never get a hold of him. And so out of all the people that worked in his barbershop in the 90s, I'm going to say at least the ones that work with me, they all have hair salons and barbershops. So you have Joey Nieves. He's currently Rick and Martin's hairstylist,
Personal guy.
and he does Pharrell. He's out there in LA. He has a barbershop called Gray Matter. So I used to talk to him. You seen Bolivar? He's like, no, man, I'm trying to find him. Then there's Mikey. He's in Miami. He has 2 hair salons, and he's real popular down there. He does a lot of celebrities. His kids have barbershops. So, but I couldn't find him. He's not on social media, guys. So it's not like I can go on Facebook and type in his
Yeah.
name. And then he called me one day. I saw a picture of one of the barbers with him, and I called him. He said, I got his number. And he was in Hollywood, Miami, Florida. And I got in touch with him. He's cutting hair with his son over there. And I'm like, wow, I'm opening these shops. I would love to have you over here. And he was like, well, I'm kind of good. My son has a Universal Barbershop, I think it's called. And he was doing very well. But I didn't know a lot of things because he was missing for a little bit. So, talking to him, I found out that he had gone through like really bad health issue, and he couldn't walk or cut hair for like 2 or 3 years.
Wow, it must have been really hard.
And I won't get too many into details, but he thought he was gonna die.
Sure.
And his family was really kind of taking care of him in Dominican Republic, and he had just bounced back, and he was in Miami with his son. And but one day he calls me and say, hey, you know what? This barbershop is kind of crazy. I'm in Hollywood, and it's a lot of Latino Dominicans, and it's like loud music. And I see that your barbershops are a little bit more, not that many walk-ins, appointments. And he loves working, and he wanted to be in a little bit, chill place. And I told him, hey, you're welcome to come over here. I'll be glad to have you. It'll be an honor. And no, man, I seen him, like a month later. He just arrived, and it was right after COVID. Yeah.
Like seeing a celebrity, huh?
Yeah.
He launched that Destin location with you, huh?
Basically, he's been helping me at all the shops. He started at the main shop, and that shop was under construction. And as soon as we opened, he went and looked at it. And the thing is with Bolivar, that he's done very well for himself. He's such a simple guy. He lives with so little, but he's built an amazing state in Dominican Republic. And so right now he's over there. He does Christmas and New Year's Eve over there, and so basically he'll be back. I think before January is over, he'll be back.
Yeah.
What's the one piece of information that he's given you that you think this was gold?
Well, he loved what I did with the bar. So it's like him seeing all his how do you call it, his students doing progress, right? And you got to feel really, really. I'm sure he's proud. He's told me
Sure.
a few times, but he sees Joey having a brand in L.A., Mikey in Miami, his son. So everybody that kind of branched out off of him. So I don't think he gets too much credit. I always tell him, but he's like, he doesn't care. He's
Everything he touches turns to gold, and he doesn't know it.
yeah.
Is there something he said to you along the way in your career that just sticks with you? That you think this has changed the trajectory of your career?
Well, what he told me was like, he's super cool guy, like the way he walks and handles himself, but he's really humble. But he always told me all these barbers now think they're superstars, right? It's just a normal job, man. You wake up, you take care of people, they have needs, and you got to be available, and you have to be consistent and, make a living. Money will come, But so he's like, these guys now, they want to start cutting hair and charge $100, and they only been in the business for two months, and they haven't built a reputation or retain clients enough to that, get that busy where you can charge that. And but I like it. It's just nice to work with him. It's very nice. Me started with him when I was 17. When I'm working with him now, it's just flawless. Clients are in the chair, they're conversating, we're doing our haircuts, they leave. I mean, it makes our day like so quick and so home. It feels like home.
You guys have like a choreographed dance in there, huh?
Yeah.
It just flows and
It
just,
flows
yeah,
really
it's
good.
nice. It's nice to have that energy in the shop too.
Yeah.
Because some shops you can walk in and it's real rigid and
It's really important to have a good vibe. So these shops being small, they're like all my satellite shops are like 2 chairs.
Yeah, like the Destin room that I went into. It's probably the size of this room.
Yeah.
It's just got the
so intimate.
mirror and all that, and it's just 2 chairs, but it's cool. As we saw, the vibe is
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah. You can feel it by looking at the pictures.
Yeah, I took away. So I think after COVID, people were a little also scared that being around a lot of people and so the intimate part of being in a room maybe with another person, it was a little bit more intimate. And the barbershop, I like the old school barbershop where everybody's talking sports. They don't talk about politics no more, but it's still open talk because men go there and they can vent a little bit, talk about the things they want. They might not be able to hang out too much in bars like before. So the barbershop is like that little time.
Social hour,
Yeah.
gossip hour for the boys.
That's right. Get that hot goss.
I know y'all think the girls are the ones who gossip. No offense, but you guys need a space for that too.
That's right.
It's fair. You're allowed.
Yeah. Guys, I think guys need that. I think I have so many head shaves and beard trims. And I'm like, bro, you can't do this at the house. They're like, no.
Social
man.
hour. Yeah.
I need to come in and get
Yeah.
the hot lather and
I
shave.
love that. That's so cool.
That's right.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for barbers that are maybe looking to scale?
Like maybe they own a shop like you did, and they want
They're
to
capped out.
expand a little,
Yeah.
or
What
they feel like they're stuck.
What kind of advice could you give them?
Well, I think there's always been kind of big competition between local barbers, And I always tell them, you think Sport Clips is over there talking about us, man?
They don't even know you
care.
exist. It's a different clientele.
They don't care. But no, it's just more, it's very competitive. And I think because barbers are independent contractors, they always feel like, it's they don't unite, I tell most of my barbers make anywhere from $60,000 to $100,000, right? And that's a good income for, a labor job that you can manage your hours, you can do your taxes, you're an independent contractor. Some barbers are a little bit more put in a little bit more time so they're able to, get to those earnings a year. But if everybody kind of worked on their own brand and get together, I mean, they would be a lot more successful. These corporations, Sport Clips and Supercuts, are racking in so much money, and the haircuts are not, they're not the best, but they're consistent. There's a brand, and people know that they can go there, And I tell them, like, man, we're over here arguing which barbershop is better, but Sport Clips is in LA, it's in Texas, it's Miami. So,
They're just getting that 2 on the side, 5 on top, squared off.
Yeah.
Simple. So what you're saying is quit focusing on putting other barbershops down, just focus on building your brand.
Yeah, I think it's just what you offer. There's going to be, you obviously like our restaurants, some of them a little bit better than other, but you don't always go to, for example, McGuire's or Roof Chris. Like sometimes you just want a different vibe, a different service, and food's good everywhere. So I'd say, if a client of us comes to us, we do our best, and the service has to be on point, and also the experience. And if they try other barbershops and they come back, that's kind of like a compliment, It's, sometimes it's convenient. They're going somewhere closer, and they're in a hurry, so they need a quick trim. I have one of my clients say, Joe, every time I'm going to a wedding, I'm going out. If they ask me, I say I go to your shop, but I have a landscaping company, and I'm always wearing a hat. So most of the times, I just hit the local, places and get a little trim, but I don't say I go there. It's like, so I'm like, okay,
tell them.
How do you handle negative feedback? Or if you have a customer that's complaining, or what do you do?
We do have, it's hard to please everybody. We have people not like in our booking app. People will leave reviews because we can't take care. I had a guy that came in and was like, I want a haircut, and everybody was booked, and there was a barber kind of waiting for their next appointment, and he wanted to get in the chair right there. And he went into the parking lot and left a bad review. And I'm like, oh my God, like, we would love to take you, but we have somebody walking in the next 3 minutes. He's probably in the parking lot,
Yeah.
But they didn't understand our business. But we try our best. I try to, we have 400, almost 500 reviews. Last time I looked in our headquarters. And we have some bad reviews. Sometimes barbers get behind. Sometimes they can't communicate with the client, and they show a picture of Brad Pitt. It's like, you got black hair, you have, it's a whole different texture. Like,
You're way uglier. Like, I can't give you that face, man.
Yeah.
That's Brad Pitt.
Yeah. Do you respond to your negative comments, or do you just ignore them?
No, some of them I try to respond. A lot of times, most of ours is because we're kind of hold up to high standard when it comes to our appointments. So people will drive, let's say, from Navarre or from Destin, they're going to Fort Walton Beach. And then when they get there, the barber's behind. They booked an appointment at 3:00. 15 minutes later, they're still not in the chair, and they might have done an appointment somewhere else. So that could be a little difficult. We're all humans, so things happen. Barbers need to use the restroom. They have to eat. Sometimes they forget to block their time, so they have to do it in between a client. So, that's mostly, people are, now they're like, they want what they want at the time they want. They can get really, really weird about it. But, we try our best. We're pretty much on time. There's like a 10 or 15 minutes. I tell every client, it's like, listen, there's a little buffer time in between. Things can get, a little weird here in the shop. But that's mostly what I encounter is just time. Now people's real focus on maximizing, being productive,
Yeah.
And I've been on the phone and their wives are calling, where are you at? I'm getting a haircut. You're not at the barber shop. It's been, an hour and a half.
Oh, no.
oh my God.
It's okay. Don't worry
You
about
got the crazy
Bill?
wives at
it.
home.
Who knows? It's all right.
Just
Don't
the
worry about
metal
it.
plate.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Okay, the part.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fine. That thing it always comes off.
But,
I usually sit in that chair and I have the same problem. He's like, oh my God. But some reason this one makes the most noise. I don't know
Maybe
why.
because the cable's on this side.
Oh, yeah, probably.
it was coming out of there until you pulled it
Oh,
out.
okay.
But still, it's where the hand is. Like if you put your hand down,
Yeah.
I'm the same way. Don't worry.
But to your point, he was telling me probably months ago, he created a new system where there's a little more 15-minute window. So I think you fall into this where barbers are like turn and burn. it's like, you know, he doesn't want those barbers to look at his customers as numbers. He's like, you need to give them that time during that window. So he like buffered a little 15-minute window. And I'm sure barbers were probably a little pushback because they're like, man, I can get 3 more haircuts done in a day. But it's
I had a barber that left that he was like, because he's pretty quick.
Yeah.
But the thing is, at the gym or at the dealerships, like there's not a lot of waiting area. So if let's say the client comes in 5-10 minutes behind because they're looking for the place, it took him a while to park, and so he's already 5-10 minutes into his 30 minutes, and then he has to do a 20-minute haircut. He kind of like takes a little bit of time with the next person coming in, so you have a little people overlap in there.
Sure.
So I just added 15 minutes within the service for that. So if you get behind, or a lot of times clients they want an add-on. You know, they book the haircut because they don't know how good it's gonna be, and then they see their barber just, you know, doing an amazing haircut. Like, hey, I get my eyebrow, can I get my beard? So you don't have the time really to add the service because you're on the 30-minute. So having that extra time helps, and it's an upsell too.
There you
have the
go.
time.
That's the way to combat the barbers who get upset. Well, upsell. Hey,
Yeah.
if you want more money, make more money. Push another service.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
you
there
got to
go.
sell yourself, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. That's smart. You're so smart.
Try.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Are you willing to talk about where you've started and where you are now, numbers wise, just to kind of give some barbers some motivation?
Yeah, we well, sort of, you know, the barbershop, the way I see it is because I love what I did and I wanted to just have a good income and at some point have a little freedom, you know. I want to manage and open more shops. But it started, you know, with all this barbershop this year, we nearly hit $1 million. We're really close to, and gross sales.
Can we celebrate that for a second? That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
amazing. $1 million from $500 to $1 million. That's a big jump.
Yeah, well,
Congrats.
we pay our barbers very well. Their percentages are really high, and we have a lot of expenses in order to create that. But just the fact that we have, you know, altogether now we have about 15 or 16 barbers.
Cool.
That's kind of big because just to keep, like, all these guys, all these barbers have, they're artists, right? So in order to get all these guys together working under one umbrella and not wanting to do their thing, you know, separately, that is a big accomplishment. You know?
I'd say so. Talk people to wearing your brand instead of being like, you know, Joe the barber. It's like, no, we're all Clark's Barber Lounge. We're together.
You've created a whole environment, a culture, a work culture.
Yeah, and the thing is, you know, is what is it that the brand actually provides? Because a lot of the barbers are like, you know what? So, you know, I'm leaving so much money behind, you know, but what are they doing with that money, you know? So, you know, marketing goes a long way. It's pretty expensive nowadays, and it's a lot of work hours, you know, and they don't see that, you know, because they say, well, I'll post on my story and I'll post here and there, but, you know, you have to, you know, monetize those ads and for everybody to see it, not just your clients, you know. So, you know, I think once they go and they have all those separate expenses and they're cutting hair and doing all the things, they kind of realize, just like I did, wow, man, this is a lot of times. I'm almost a slave of my business, you know.
Yep.
So we do a lot of that for them, and I think some of them that left and end up coming back say it's worth it, you know. If you individualize and every expense you have, you got a booth rent. You know, usually barbers want a booth rent. We do percentage. They do a booth rent, and then they have to pay Booksy or Squire, Booking App. And
Promote themselves a lot more than they already probably should.
yeah, that's an extra $100 a month, and then you have marketing, and you have to buy all your stuff, and you know. So they realize, you know what, you know, I can make good money, and I can go home while Jose has to go home and start checking their emails and doing all this other stuff. You know, they're already, you know.
You can't shut it off.
I can't shut it off.
You go to sleep with it at night.
Have you run into that where like you'll have a barber that's worked for you and they're like wearing their own like branded logo or something, and you're like,
you know what? I'm not really. I used to kind of like think, you know. Now I just let people, you know, everybody has their own, you know, name brand on their Instagram. I let them also be, you know, their self. Everybody attracts a certain clientele,
of course,
and their personality might be more, you know, people relate more to certain people. You got barbers that talk about sports all the time. You got, you know, other people that don't necessarily you know, vibe with the barber, so they move on.
What's cool about your spot is it's like that.
A lot of
You
diversity.
know, you got Derek, Keith, was it Pablo? Like
Yeah.
everyone, there's a different vibe in each guy
yeah.
and the look you like. So it's really dope.
Do you ever battle barbers that take side jobs? Do you allow them to take their own gigs on the side outside of the shop?
They're independent contractors. So
Okay.
yeah, my brother's a realtor, you know, and
But like barber
But
jobs?
like house calls. or
Like,
something.
yeah. Do you frown upon that if a guy is like, hey, I'm going to take my own bookings outside of the shop?
no, we have actually scheduled people calling for you know, house calls for barbers, and if they have a client and they want to go cut their hair, but I think I mean, their books are so full throughout the week. They don't want. I mean, unless they, you know, it's a favor. I don't think they care too much to do those. I mean, some barbers do. You got like in Miami and big cities, like that's kind of like a thing. You know,
Yeah.
pay
Yeah, they
200
hijack clients.
We do that. Like, especially COVID, all the barber shops, if they got shut down for those like 4 weeks, all
Oh,
those
yeah.
people charging 50 at the shop, we're charging 100 for house calls.
Oh, yeah.
Like Majestic would come over and cut your hair, and it was so awesome. Yeah, it's good to have that.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, if people feel more comfortable at their house, you know, and they want to pay, but it's like, you know, you kind of have to. I tell people, there's been a big debate online where barbers are crazy. They're charging $200, but you know that just to drive and then come back and set up, and the time it's you lost the whole day.
Exactly.
you
That's why you got that mobile barber van instead.
You do. You have a you have
No,
a
here's
no,
mobile
I
talk-
don't, but I want to.
After
should
being in
talk
our
about
van,
it.
he was looking at
We
it.
should talk about it.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
might be a cool thing for the area. I was
Yeah.
thinking maybe
Go to
you
events.
should create an app where like you can order an at-home barber. But
Yep.
like you said, the setup cost is probably too much. But a setup to order a barber to your house and they just pull the van in the driveway.
Do you in your can you have a liquor license in a van like that? I wonder.
Well, you're not. Well, though you can always you can do a complimentary drink. You know,
Yeah,
beer
that's where they get
shot.
rid of it or get away with it as a complimentary.
Is that what you do in the barber shops?
Yeah.
So you don't have to have a liquor
So
license.
you have a
for that.
limit of how much you can pour, right?
Yeah.
So you
It's like
get
a shot for a
you
person
get
type
1 ounce,
thing.
and then you know beer or two. I think is the limit.
Yeah.
But you want to make sure, like we have our bar, but we want to make sure they're not walking out with the beer to go drive or something like that. Or just,
Right.
you know.
I'm gonna take 3 of these for the road. You're like, whoa, no.
So that's another thing. You know, you have to have a separate insurance for
Yeah.
that, at least at the headquarters, because I don't think a lot of people want to drink beer at the gym. You know.
Oh right. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, or at the dealership. but-
Protein shakes at
Yeah.
the gym.
Yeah. So at the lounge, which is a little bigger space and people hang out, we have a nice little setup, and you know, we don't promote it, but people want to, you know, knock the edge a little bit and relax, and you know, women do all the time. They get a glass of wine, some sangria or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but talk about that. You also are offering women's hair stuff,
Wait a
right?
second. What?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. I hear your
Well-
girlfriend. Oh, sorry. I can't be trusted.
Just keep your hands to yourself.
They are. They're in my lap.
You're holding them. I'm holding mine.
I try. I'm like, I sit on my hands sometimes. David's like, stop making noise.
Fine.
So yeah, so we've always had the hairstylists since we started. I don't know if you notice on my logo, in the bottom it says for man and woman.
Yeah.
Which I've been thinking about taking it off because all this
The gender
pushback,
neutral- yeah.
for everybody.
For everybody. Yeah. For y'all.
For every one of you, for whatever you
For-
think you
For
are.
y'all and your kitty, whatever.
Yeah,
You want to be a
exactly.
cat, be a cat.
So no, so we had hairstylists. Even at the beginning of my shop, we had some hairstylists, and as we went on, most of the hairstylists now are you know, learning how to do men's hair or perfecting it, you know, because they've always cut men's hair. They're just not really good with the straight razor and the tapers and fades. So yeah, we added some hairstylists, and my girlfriend, she's a hairstylist, and she cuts men's hair, but she kind of stays away from the skin fades and stuff like that. But yeah, we set up a complete little room side to side. That way, she has some privacy, you know, because
Girls.
yeah, it's a little awkward.
vibe.
You know, a lot of females that go with their husbands to the barbershop, they like it. They're always looking around. It's very
It's
masculine.
pretty. Yeah, I like it. You did a good job.
But I think, you know, once they're spending, 3 or 4 hours in the chair, you know, it could be a little weird. And then they have all the foils
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So I think the younger chicks don't really mind that much, but some of the ladies will be like,
Yeah. Especially if they're doing that like 6-hour treatment stuff where women are in the chair all day. I can.
Yeah, and we
do
want to
that.
gossip, just like you guys. We
Yeah.
want to talk. We want to talk.
So yeah, what what if they want to reach out to? Is your girlfriend separate or just through Clark's? You book it all
You
the
can
same?
book. You can book through Squire. She has all her services there.
Does she do blowouts?
Yeah,
What?
she does color. She does blogs. Everything.
What?
She's pretty good.
And she does it in Destin too.
Well, she's on both. She's on our Destin
cool.
app too, but she's been staying busier in Fort Walton. But it's a little bit more comfortable because we redecorated a room for her, and it's very kind of organic, white plants and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we have a little outside patio, and it just feels comfortable.
Yeah.
We turn it. That used to be. I used to have a tattoo shop there, and then not so long before, I don't think you saw it, or I had the red light therapy in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had I did, we have all this space there, and we were trying to, capitalize on it. But now, hey, she brings some money too.
Yeah. Does she do the eyebrow laminations?
No.
Have you heard of that yet?
No, but she's been looking at, advancing her stuff. There's so many, things that hairstylists or estheticians are doing that, are real popular now.
You could look
She
her
needs
up.
models,
What's she
let me
on? Like
know.
Bombshell something? What's her?
Yeah. Bombshell Beauty.
Yeah, I'll check her out.
Look her up
That's
on
great.
Instagram.
Yeah, I would love that. I just haven't found anybody here, not because they don't exist. I think we just travel so much for work that when we're here, we're playing catch up,
Yeah.
and we haven't had a chance to explore who the
yeah.
businesses are here.
Yeah.
That's our goal.
You gotta get out and meet people.
I
And
know.
Being a barber, you get to meet everybody because they come to you and
They
sit in
come
a chair.
to you.
Yeah.
I know.
But what do you do? Oh, you own that place? Cool.
Yeah.
What do you feel has been the most important part of your business? If you had to say sales, marketing, word of mouth, what do you think is the key point?
I think our brand exploded, our barbershops in this area. And I mean, there's still some good barbershops. I don't want to boost, but I think our brand has a lot of recognition. It's for stepping out of the box, taking the risk of doing a barbershop in a dealership, in a showroom, in a gym. That kind of brought man, this guy is really spreading out, and his barbers are with him. There's a tight community, and I think that's helped a lot. And honestly, Squire has made it so much easier for us.
So taking a risk and saying yes to things.
Yeah, Squire is I have good communication with one of the main guys, and they have so many options. I mean, Squire now, they go above and beyond for you to expand and open more businesses, and they have a lot of options for once you're pretty stable with them, and they see your numbers on your POS, then they're like, come on, let's what you want to do, we're here. So yeah, we're looking for other spots right now. I mean, my dream was to open 4 or 5 shops within 30A and Destin. And so we're still, we have options. We're looking at other places throughout 98 all the way to 30A. And my thing was, instead of doing one barbershop with 10 chairs like I have in Fort Walton, I wanted to kind of have this satellite shops, on 98 all the way to Destin.
Instead of
I
2
love it.
shops with 10 chairs, 10 shops with 2 chairs each type
I
thing.
love that.
Yeah. Those work out. And plus, you get 2 barbers that get along together, and they're so booked because there's only 2, and then they're covering that area alone,
Yeah, we'll talk about your guys at the dealership. He's got these 2 guys that are homies, and they run the whole place, and it's perfect.
Well, yeah. One of the things that that guy Fernando told me is, you're an entrepreneur, but you're a slave. He was like, you work at your shops. I actually like cutting hair, so I was like, man, how do I stop cutting hair? He said, well, if your business is not running by itself, you're not an entrepreneur. It's like, what?
Oh, doesn't that sting?
Yeah,
I hate that.
But
The more important you are to your business, the less valuable the business is.
Yeah.
And
We
if
keep
the
learning
system
this.
runs itself, it's worth something. But if you
Yeah.
need to be there, it's worth
I know.
less.
but the thing is that
Yours runs without you. You just like to be there.
Yeah, it's a habit. I love it. I just feel this responsibility towards my clients because
Your name's on it.
yeah. Well, and we figure out so many ways in the barber industry that one day maybe I tell all my barbers, but I wish they knew our clients basically help open these locations. I came up with a membership package, and I had some funds to put aside, but you know, you always go over budget.
Always.
So I was thinking there, and some of my clients are actually my advisors, like they're accountants, like people that know about business. And he was like, "Hey, how can I help?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I really don't want to bring anybody involved. I want to do this by myself." And I was like, "Well, you know, maybe get a loan or whatever." He's like, "Why don't you just ask, like, tell people you have a 1 year membership and it's 1,500, and I won't mind paying." I was like, "Yeah, that could be a thing." And that, so sat down with my girlfriend. We wrote it down. We sent an email, and I raised $15,000. I had 10 clients
Buy your package.
buy my package. So, you know, I had to cut their hair for a whole year.
Yeah.
But I invested the money.
Good for you.
And opened the barbershop in Destin.
Yeah,
And,
smart.
so there's a lot of ways, you know, your clients just contribute so much, either with marketing, videos, I mean, advice, you know, my accountant is like one of my good friends, you know, he's always giving me good advice, helping me.
We need his information. We need
Yeah. Matt Turpin. He's,
When you know, as you're talking, I can't help it. I go into this marketing brain space, but I really want to help you scale your business in the marketing side.
thank you.
Yeah, you have everything. So that was one thing you were talking about is the brand is really important. But without marketing, you're just a brand,
Yeah.
right? You have to market it so people know you're there, that you have to expose it. Because what you're sitting on is a gold mine. I mean, $1 million is a huge, huge like applause for you.
appreciate
But let's make it 10 million next year.
Yeah.
You know what I
that'd
mean?
be great.
And so David keeps telling me, you've got to meet Joe. You've got to meet Joe. Like you're going
She
to
calls
love
you
it.
Clark, actually.
Sometimes
Okay.
I do call you. And as I was saying your name, I was like, don't say Clark. But there are ways to just really blow your shit up. And and it's inspiring to hear you talk about it. I want to help. And if there's anything you need, you're a wonderful person. I can tell just by you talking, like you're genuine, you're humble, you have the right mindset. You're an ideal client.
Yeah.
And so I want to help.
I'm
Let me
all
know.
in. I mean, that's one of the things that I've been more open to it because, you know, being a small business owner, like you're always like, man, I'm paying this and that, you know, and like you want to cut expenses. But I've taken many risks, and they've been, you know, so far it's helped a lot, you know, and you got to step out of the box, and if you want to make money, you got to put money in.
Yes, so
just-
true.
that's
So
just how it
true.
is.
And I tell clients too that with marketing, yes, so many people have bad tastes in their mouth because they spend all this money and nothing works. Your marketing should work. If
Yeah.
you're not making your money back, something's not right. And so we have to readjust and look at it. And a good marketing person will say, okay, let's go to the drawing board. What's not working here? Because you should be making that money back.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember during COVID, how you just said double down, you know, don't, that you've got to put money back into your brand. During COVID, nobody came into the shop for Taylor for S&P. We're like, what do we do? The books just started dropping because most of his clients flew out from out of state. And I was like, now's our time to double down. Because where was everybody on COVID?
On their phones.
Right here.
Yeah.
Capture them. This is the best money you're ever going to spend is
Yeah.
on ads on your phone right now because
exactly.
everybody's right here. And we doubled down and blew up, and he just started booking, and we were like, once this settles, we'll honor this rate. We had our best year during COVID when everything was shut down. I mean, that guy.
No, we
Cleared-
didn't work during COVID.
Yeah.
People walking
Yeah,
the
yeah.
streets, the windows are tinted. They're like, no one's in there. We're like
yeah.
quiet as they're like,
But we
Cops
started
walking the
like
street.
we made it work. And so I think, and we were trying to tell our business clients too, like don't cut your marketing. This is the chance to really go all in. And the people that trusted and listened to that,
Yeah.
they had the best years of their career. And I'm sure you can relate. I mean, I don't know how it was here because we weren't living here, but did you
No,
run into stuff?
This area right after COVID was probably the best
Right?
time ever. Yeah. I mean, we were shut down for 2 months, and
everybody wanted to get out after that.
What'd you do when they shut down? Did you
We-
did you panic or?
well, and I was still taking care of some of my close friends.
Sure.
You know, that would come home and get them a haircut and stuff like that. But we try to stay. We did a lot of remodeling while COVID. So we were working on building the barbershop in the gym. And that was cool because, you know, contractors and stuff, they were about themselves doing, you know, sheetrock and doing the floors. And then we were repainting. We kind of switched our old color from Clark's to blue. And we painted like 3 times different colors, and it was just like, oh, that's not right. But we had the time. Before that, we didn't know how to stop operations and work on the shop. Like, it was so busy. Sundays was cleaning days. Like, what can we do? So we had the time, and so we fixed up that barbershop. We were building the other shop. All the barbershops, the one in Fort Walton, the Cadillac, they both got little makeovers. So when we opened, so a lot of my girlfriend was like, "You're spending all this money, and you don't know when they're gonna open." And I'm like, "We need to put money back into the business right
Good
now."
for you.
And then we started doing marketing really heavily. And Squire has this email and text message thing, and we were just sending, cool little inspiring messages, letting them know that we can't wait to see you guys and get back. And we did like 50% off the first month after COVID, and our books just went completely
Yeah.
crazy.
You give people a deal and they all just come running.
Yeah, 50%.
And you also, it sounds like you made it about the customer, not about you. And a
Yeah.
lot of businesses miss that.
We
you know?
knew that people were going through a tough time, like it's just, and haircuts is, it's important, you get back in the work field and feeling good about yourself after being locked up, basically.
We're all in prison.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like,
Everyone shows up and they've got beards and long hair and they're like, fix me.
You're like, I have dreadlocks. You become, what's the guy from with the ball?
Castaway?
Yeah. What's his name?
Tom Hanks?
Yeah. But what's his name in the movie? Do you remember?
No.
Oh, I can't think of his name.
I remember
But
he
yeah.
named the volleyball Wilson.
Wilson.
But I don't know what Tom Hanks' name was.
I can't remember his name either. Okay. We digress.
we'll think about it.
Yeah. Everybody comes in like him. Yeah. I'd love to talk more about this mobile
Oh, yeah.
van maybe off camera.
Yeah.
But-
And then we'll let everybody know when it's launched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll see a big Clark's van rolling down the
Yeah.
street.
It's great. It's a good tax write off if it's over a certain weight too. It's really,
Plus the visibility going up and down. I think that
Driving the
alone,
billboard to work every day.
but people come here to vacation. It's a vacation spot and everyone's going to get drunk and party. And so if you go to them
Do
and you
hotel
make it,
calls
yeah.
and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, there's so many, events here, good causes that you can show up and you get all the locals and people involved. And
Show up to that hamburger. What do they do? The burger event.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
There's like
beer.
all type of festivals and
Pull
stuff.
up.
they have a lot of festivals. Yeah.
This
Have
is
the
brought
door.
to you by Clark's Barber
Yeah.
Lounge.
Yeah.
On
And
your
they
way
do-
out, guys, swing by the parking lot. Clark's Barber Lounge is waiting for you.
And some of the barber conventions, I saw a barber pull up in a van, or he had a
They
picture.
put them in the convention
Yeah,
center.
they put the
Some
van in
vans
there.
And drive them in.
Uh-huh. But he was a custom
I can see
van
it.
builder.
I can see the mobile shop in front of a nice beach here in
Yeah.
Destin. Just getting
Get your hair
haircuts.
cut.
And then when things blow up, you got like 6 of them driving around town.
Yeah.
I know. It has. I haven't seen them out here as much.
No, I've seen a few in Miami. I mean,
Uh-huh.
big cities are real popular. But I haven't seen. I think there was one somewhere in Panama City, but haven't seen much of it. But I think, I think mobile barbershops. The cool thing about it is they can't. You can take it anywhere you want, and they won't.
Kick you out.
Kick you out from anywhere.
Yeah.
You can park and as long as you have a friend somewhere with a business, you can ask permission and park. And
That's what's
And once you get your marketing going on it, you let people know where you're going to be.
That's
hey,
true.
we're going to be here. Come see us.
That's
and
like
then
what
people
food
meet
trucks
you.
do.
Yep.
You seen that? Like
Yeah.
this Friday, we're going to be down on this spot.
I think, I
So
think
people follow you around.
I think the website and how do you book and find where the vehicle is going to be on their certain days is kind of what's going to be
Yeah.
important.
Like every
Yeah.
Saturday, it's in
Easy
this
fix.
area. It's in the Commons. It's
Yeah.
here. And
you
then-
you put out a schedule. This is
Yeah.
where we're going to be for the month, so people can
Now.
book, and they book through Squire mobile dates, and you just have you create a barber, like a barber avatar,
Yeah.
and you say this is where you can name it Clark 2.0 or Superman. You call it Superman because it's
Yeah.
on the go, right?
Yeah.
Clark, what's Clark's?
Well, my
Oh,
logo,
Clark Kent.
Clark
my
Kent.
logo has like a little Superman.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Ah, there you
noticed.
go.
So you could have Clark's Barber, and then you could have Kent the mobile vehicle. So it's
Yeah.
Clark Kent, and this one's on the go. So you could create a whole superhero
We
marketing.
went off of, we'll talk about it off camera.
I know.
too. Now the whole business plan is out.
I know. So there, and you could have like glasses. I don't know. It could be really
It's
cute.
got the glasses on. This
Yeah.
man's got a
Yeah.
Superman costume underneath
Yeah.
this.
Take them off and
Yeah, yeah. And there could be
Should
something.
take a picture of you in the van like that. With
Yes,
the,
yes.
It's the Clark's logo.
But and your haircuts are kryptonite.
Boom. For the
So there's a
win.
do
whole
it.
thing. I know, right?
down.
It could be really fun, and we'll help you build it out if you want.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah,
Sounds fun.
there's so much. I'm so excited for you.
Cool. Well, let's continue this talk going forward and get this business booming.
Yeah, I'm really excited for you. I love what you're doing. And I feel like you're such an inspiration to barbers all around this area. And also it could be something even bigger than that.
Yeah.
Just offering your insight. I think barbers get really stuck and you've got a great mentor. Maybe there's opportunity for you to mentor
Yeah.
people in the future too.
Yeah, you can't keep everything for yourself. Obviously, you just gotta share. Some people, I've taken so many ideas from different businesses and also shops, but it's an industry, and everybody got to help each other and grow. If there's more unity, that will be even better. Because people have great ideas all together, and they just have to execute them.
And there's only one you. So
Yeah.
people like to think there's so much competition, but there's not. You can't, I can't compete with you. If I'm a barber and you're a barber, I can't compete with you because you're you and I'm me.
Your failure doesn't give me success.
Plus,
We can both
Plus,
succeed.
once you get booked, like barbers only have two hands. So once you get booked, where do you go from
Right.
there? And then, then the other barber gets booked, and it's just like, there's a certain amount of people, a percentage that want haircuts, and some of the barbers that are consistent and available, once they get booked, they reach, what
It
they
flows
want.
over into somebody else. Yeah. I think it's great. I love what you've done. I think you've built a really great environment and a work culture. And it's obvious and transparent because you have barbers that continue to still want to work with you and scale with you. And that says a lot about you.
Yeah, and I like it. That's why I don't know when I'm gonna retire, but I love coming into a shop and seeing the guys, and even though sometimes they give you a headache, but hey,
Sure.
I
That's
don't know.
life.
I stay sometimes. So Saturdays I'm off usually, and I stay home, and I'm like up at 8 o'clock, and I'm
Bored.
I'm trying to please my girlfriend because she wants me to relax and actually, but I can't.
You can't. You're a business owner.
She would, she'll sleep in a little bit. It'll be 11 o'clock, and it's already been 4 hours, and I've been, oh man, I could have done some
I
work.
could have done two heads by now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, where can people reach out and find you when they're in the area? Website, Instagram, and all that. Where can they reach out?
Well, usually most of our customers, Google is really big. I mean, we get most of the people that I ask, they say Google.
Yeah.
Instagram, I like to keep in touch with our clients, our followers, and we do some ads on there too. And the people that are in town, so you have military coming in here for training, or they just got here, so you have to stay consistent because that's where they at. They're looking at Instagram, and then the shop pops up. And
Yeah. So Clark's Barber Lounge on all platforms. Just look
It's a
for you on
consistent
that.
name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clark's Barber
Clark's
Lounge.
Barber Lounge.
Sweet. And then booking through Squire.
Squire. Yeah, so all of our platforms has online booking, so you can, it takes you there, and our website, of course, and you'll meet a lot of people in town if you're, going to restaurants or bars, and most of the time, it's like either they see somebody with a nice haircut. I had a bartender tell me that every time he tries to tell somebody about, our barbershop, the guy's like, I just went there,
Oh, dope.
Yeah, so
That's so cool.
So for people in the area that don't know, Destin, Fort Walton Beach, Pensacola, and then the Cadillac in Fort Walton Beach
So
too.
2 and 4 Walton, yeah. You got the headquarters, is a standalone, the big shop, and then you got a satellite shop down the road. It's probably like 7 minutes from our barber shop.
And 38 coming soon.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
hopefully.
Hopefully. Let's plant that seed now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. It's going to happen.
It's happening. It's
Yeah.
happening.
That's so awesome.
Joe's always on the next move. He's
Oh,
ready.
yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much for being a part of the podcast
Hey,
today.
thank you for
This
having
was
me.
really nice, and I appreciate the insight.
That's
Thank
right.
you very
We'll have to do it again sometime.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sweet.
Right.
Shift and focus out.